Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the FACEIT Asia Minor. We have our two qualifiers to the FACEIT Major in September, ready and waiting in our grand final, which is about to take place. On the one hand, we have Renegades, an Australian team that is essentially an international team at this point. And on the other hand, we have a Chinese organisation, Tyloo, with two Indonesian players. It's been the story of these minors for a while. I think it's the last 5, Eric and Sudhen, where these two teams have squared off. 3 going in favour of the Renegades, the most recent 3, and 2 in favour of Tyloo. And so there is a lot on the line. Not just $30,000 for first place, $15,000 for second, not just the bragging rights, but also pride and to prove a point. My name is Parla, and I am your desk host for now. And yeah, I'm joined by my comrades to the right.
How's it going, Parla?
Really good, man. I'm extremely excited for this final. Everybody at home, be sure to check us out on social media. I was in the middle of writing a tweet to get the word out, and you can check us out on Twitter with the hashtag FACEITMinor, and you can also use that elsewhere on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever else. Get involved in the conversations and the content. Blair and the Bears.
The Bears Niner.
The Bears Niner. Skip my mind.
Niner.
What is the Bears Niner?
Well, every time I sign up for the Bears, it's always taken. Someone's out there taking all my names, and so
what's a Niner?
So do you have like a tenor or something?
Niner is from the movie Tommy Boy. All right?
Oh, really well-known film, that one. I've seen it many times.
Have you seen it?
Yeah.
It's a Chris Farley movie, old school. And there's a part where he gets picked up from the airport, and, you know, you've got to watch it to kind of figure it out.
Okay. We also have a fantastic giveaway going on, the FACEIT Minors Millionaire giveaway. 2 million FACEIT points on the line. Head on over to faceitmajor.com/giveaway to get involved. You can redeem those points on the FACEIT website for nice exclusive prizes. You can also sign up to FACEIT Premium using the code MINORS20 for 20% off, and that deal is running for a limited time. FACEIT is a premium matchmaking service that pretty much I think all of us in the scene use ourselves, so go and check it out and find some worthy competition.
I want the Fiat.
The Fiat. I still don't know if the Fiat has ever been given away. We can find out. I can ring up Alessandro. He's in LA at the moment. Ask James or Dan, and we can find out the story of the
Tell him I said hi.
I want to drive down London in that Fiat.
Yeah. Oh,
and
you've just given me a VT idea for the Major.
And I just started yelling, "Rush B!"
All right. Blair and the Bears Niner and everybody at home, it's time to get to know our two teams in this grand final a little bit better.
The last 2 minor, we final against them, and our result is, I think they win more than us, so I think Renegades is one of the best team in this minor.
We won't be underestimating anyone, but we will play with like no fear, no respect. Each and every one of us on our team, all five of us put up against all 5 of any player on any of these teams. We beat them 10-1, so.
Nifty.
We beat them 10-1.
Super excited to be doing that interview. Yeah, just beat them 10-1. Alright, can I leave now? Thanks. Don't blame him. Apparently he is slightly under the weather. I did run into him last night and he wasn't feeling too good. But the performance from his team in game earlier today against Tainted Minds was pretty damn good.
I find it so interesting, the mentality of these two guys. Like, you're talking to Bented. Bented's like, yes, we respect our teammates, we respect our opponents. They are a very good, they're very respectable opponents. We are also good, but, it'll be a good game. And Nifty's like, yeah, we're just going to wreck these fools, Very
Don't mind me, by the way, guys. I'm just getting this tweet out. I want to try and get some people involved. So if you see me using my phone, that's what I'm doing.
You just got to do your social media stuff out there.
We've got to plug the social media.
Absolutely.
Get people involved.
Yeah. Coming back to Tyloo, right? I think it's going to be very interesting as to how they are going to approach this. Like, Renegades, they lost that when they faced off an upper bracket matchup where they lost 2-1 in a very close fashion, mind you. All 3 maps went down to the wire. Tyloo kind of winning by a little bit over there. And here's the thing. both these teams have played against each other for so long. They kind of know the tendencies. They kind of know how both the teams play. They all have the firepower. It's really great to see players like DD and somebody stepping up, not just the usual, Bented just hard carrying his entire team on his shoulders.
Not unusual to... How's the rest of that song?
Fall
To
in
be
love
loved
with
by-
anyone.
Yeah.
Do-do-do-do-do.
That's depressing, actually.
Yeah. Sorry.
Anyway, just a random musical intro there, but yeah.
Interlude, yes.
Interlude. And so, yeah, and Captain Mo, by the way, coming back to the team, he adds a lot to the team apart from firepower, but he's also adding to the firepower because he was really like stomping on
He's a
tainted
solid
minds.
player.
He's a pretty cool player as well. Then you have Excurate, the star opera in this team, regarded by many as like the breakout opera in Asia. And bear in mind, he hasn't really had a big game so far. He's just been consistent doing his job, but I expect him to really step up in this matchup. What's going to be a great game for me is the fact that every one of these players on both the teams are really going off here, except for the two oppas, Nifty and Extra. They've been comparatively a little quiet.
I do feel that with the addition of Bentet, initially, Tyloo already saw an improvement, but then with the addition of his fellow countryman from Indonesia, Excret, that improvement only increased. And I think there has been a steady rise. There are checkered performances, including at this land, not necessarily having very bad ones here, but they could have had more momentum at times. But overall, I think it's fair to say there has been a steady improvement of this team since those two Indonesian players were added. And I think this is a great iteration of the Tyloo lineup.
Absolutely, right? Like when they picked up Bentet, he was just wrecking heads in an Indonesian team in Reka, and he was just like literally dropping like 35 kills, 40 kills every game. But then there was a caveat that he was playing against the Asian opposition. Tyloo, I think, made a very risky gamble getting him on board, but it really paid out perfectly, right? He's just been hard carrying them, but I think the pressure of in-game leading just got to him where he was struggling a little bit. They got an Excurate as an in-game leader, as an opera, but he was too young to really shoulder both the responsibilities. But I think it was a couple of months back, right before Sydney, like a little bit before that, when something seemed to kind of fall in place. Something started to click because Bentet started calling again for the team, and he was calling well while performing at the same time. That allowed Excurate to finally get his confidence back, start op at the way he used to a year or so back, and then obviously even if you don't have a common language, you play together for a while, you're gonna have some things worked out. And I've always felt like Tyloo would kind of plateau out. It'd reach a peak where you couldn't go any further. How far can you go when you're speaking a mishmash of Mandarin, Indonesian, and English, right?
Exactly.
And yet they're beating top-tier teams. They're reaching semifinals.
That has to be the part of the team where comms is such a huge part of the game, and if you're speaking 2-3 different languages, just for one team, that just that has to set you back a little bit.
Just before we move on to Renegades, expanding on the point that I think we should touch upon a bit more that I referred to before. They've had a great tournament, Tyloo. They really have. But it was the Renegades matchup, which I was referring to, when things slowed down slightly. These guys are their toughest competition here, and that's when they've struggled the most here. In this grand final, before we move on to Renegades, just what can Tyloo do differently this time, and what are the keys to overcoming their rivals?
I think Renegades kind of have the upper hand here because they, we mentioned like a few minutes back in the previous segment, that they are looking a little disruptive, right? With Ryu on with the coaching duties, with Overpass seemingly right now in the back of the map pool. I don't know when they last played Overpass that well, to be very honest, right? I think they are a different team, I would say. They look very rejuvenated. They also look like they're doing a lot of damage. So for Tyloo, Paula, I would say they need to play a little bit more, I wouldn't say aggressively, but their style is that controlled aggression. It's that, method in the madness, and they need to kind of try and fight fire with fire, basically. It's going to be a lot of mind games, but I don't want to jump the gun here, but it's going to come down a lot to the map vetoes. Yeah,
in that initial matchup that Tyloo had against 5 Power as well, it was a slightly slow start on that CT half, but then they managed to power through on the T side of Inferno. Nonetheless, I think we've covered enough about the Chinese team that we have in this final. The Bears, why don't you start us off on Renegades, and what factors have we seen in the past that often decide these best of threes that these guys play in minor grand finals?
Well, it's all about that mind games of they expect us to do this round, but we're doing that. We're being passive here when they expect us to be pushing here. And so I think with this team now, they have pretty awesome coach of Ryu, and also I think this version of RNG is the one that we've seen the most firepower
but maybe also the most improvement in a space of time since Nifty and Jacob and Rai have joined.
Yeah,
I mean, Rai's very recent. Maybe we can't comment too much on that yet.
I guess Jacob, yeah.
But since Nifty and Jacob have joined, I think there's been
I think
the
Nifty-
most amount of improvement in a smaller amount of time.
Yeah, I think Nifty's played for them for a while along with Nexa. But yeah, ever since Jacob joined, they had a slight little dip,
Yeah.
but it's been a pretty phenomenal rise for them.
And I think what Jacob actually adds to the team is consistency.
Experience
He's
as
been really
well.
experienced, and consistency. And Renegades, they've always had times where they beat some good teams and then they lose to a lot of other teams. It's not the case anymore. They're showing a lot more consistency, and that's how you can tell this team's up on the rise. They're being consistent. They're winning matches against good teams, and they look pretty awesome in this last couple of days. It's
Except
great.
a few moments where their mentality, like they
That's
keep,
the one thing. That's their negative part.
That's
about
negative
the
part.
team.
They keep saying it like at the end of every match whenever they have an interview, like, yeah, we should have just like closed it out easy. We should have, we're obviously better than them, but hey, they lost that match to SC Absolute, something no one expected. Even the Absolute guys didn't expect it. They're like, we just wanted to play them. And they're like, oh, we just beat them right now. Oh, Christ, something could happen. So I think that's a slight little. They tend to crack a little bit when they start, feeling a little bit of pressure from an unknown opponent. But this is Tyloo. They're going to be ready for them because they already faced off against them, and this is a team on their level. And I don't think they're going to be approaching this very lightly. You won't be seeing that, balls out, hyper aggressive approach you saw against Tainted Minds earlier, for example. They're going to be playing this smart.
I hope they do. I hope they do. Just show a little respect and start
Some
running
nice
around.
Asian firepower and some nice Asian Counter-Strike. That'd be fun.
Let's get a player from each team up on screen and compare them head to head. We have Jacob and Didi, representatives of Norway and China respectively. And these are two players you guys at home should keep an eye on. Alright, so the last time that Tyloo and Renegades played each other was at IEM Sydney in that upper bracket final, and it was Tyloo that had a very strong performance, moving them into the semis. What can we take away from that? That the last time they played each other with a lot of pressure on, I mean before this tournament, that Tyloo came out on top.
Well, I think it's a very different Renegades from then and now, right? I think they've had, I wouldn't say crazy shakeup, but I think that was before Ryu, if I'm not mistaken, and I think they've looked very, very different. Now they look much more solid, much more structured, and I think not just in the Asian minor, I'm talking about even in major tournaments, I think Renegades are now a very legitimate threat. They can do a lot of damage. So I think that's one big difference, but that's also going to be kind of rattling in the back of their minds because they lost that matchup. Until then, it was like a huge streak of Renegades just dominating over Tyloo, and then that was a very convincing win by Tyloo, but the best of three they played in this tournament was a very close affair, right? You had it going down to overtime, going to 16-14 matchups here and there, so they're going to be feeling pretty confident. They're like, all right, I think we can break this curse. So, yeah, I don't want to get too much into this, but this is one of the few games that we've seen so far in this Asian minor. I think probably the only game where it's properly 50-50.
Yeah.
Da Bears.
I agree with that. I mean,
Give us your thoughts on the veto as well after you make the point you are currently
I was going to say that he made a pretty good point, and I don't know what team might win. I have a feeling that maybe be a little Renegades, but both teams are playing pretty well. Tyloo looked pretty awesome yesterday. They were on point. They're working together. As if you hand them that space, they have their set nades and flashes and routes that they take, which is so important in a game like this when chaos is happening. If you have those routes and the spots you want to play, it can make a big difference against top teams like Team Renegades.
Indeed, and the veto is coming up on screen now. Are we going to see a cash sneak in, a train, a Mirage?
So we talked about RNG
a Mirage
banning
ban
Mirage.
straight out. Okay, is that smart?
That's one of Tyloo's pretty good maps. So, and we think Tyloo auto ban nuke. They've always doing that.
This is the thing, right? We wanted to, exactly as predicted. I would have loved to see Tyloo kind of do this veto with a little bit of balls and be like, you know what? You guys ban nuke. We're not going to ban it because it's a permaban for both these teams, right? So mentally, I think Renegades have already won this map veto here. Renegades going for the Mirage ban.
They're going to pick Overpass now, which is Tyloo's.
They're going to pick Overpass, and then Tyloo might be forced to go for an Inferno. I'm just calling it out right now. I think it's Overpass, Inferno, and Cash.
There you go. I think that's...
Train?
What?
Is the pick by Renegades.
Why?
So that has snuck in.
I don't think that's a terrible pick, but...
No, I mean, they had a very close affair on that map earlier in the tournament when Tyloo came out on top. maybe Renegades think that they can run it back and have the advantage
I would
this
like
time.
to have Overpass over Train, just the fact that they played so well in the last map, and Tyloo has shown that they aren't as good on Overpass in other maps.
I think Overpass would have been a defo win for Renegades. I won't lie. I think they would have definitely won it. Train, it's almost like it's a little tricky because Train, it's almost like they're like, hey, you know what? You beat us on this map earlier. We're gonna beat you. It could be like a statement that they're being that's being made here. But I would rather, if you want to win this matchup, I'd rather go for a safe, logical bet. I would rather see Overpass. But there we have it. Train's there. That's going to be very back and forth. That's going to get a little ugly.
I think we're probably going to
Cash.
see this.
Ooh.
Oh, okay, a cash ban.
I figured that's going to
topsy-turvy.
So what? They're going to end up on Dust 2, perhaps?
Dust
Yep,
2, I think,
Dust
is going to
2.
be the map, which is going to be interesting because...
Oh, that's if we get to a third map, that's going to be
Straight 5.
really cool. I'm looking at the stats now, and yeah, they've not played each other on Dust 2 as far back as the records show on HLTV.
And I think Dust 2 favors Tyloo more than Team Renegades in terms of just being...
Oh, okay. So Dust 2 comes out with
So
that.
this actually helps out... I don't know. It's
Yeah,
there's something happening here that we don't know about.
That's a
Something behind the
very-
scenes.
That
Very-
is the strangest. That final ban makes no sense in my, according to what I know about this.
So, if we get to Overpass then, Eric, you've been saying you think Renegade should have picked that map. Is that then in favour of them?
I've
And
talked
Blair,
to...
what are your opinions on how that's come around, who it might favour?
I think Renegades are just going to be feeling very, very happy right now. They're going to be extremely happy right now, right? They took a gamble. They're like, all right, guys, we're good in Overpass. Tyloo's pretty crap on it. We can pick it, but let's go for Train. You know, screw it. Let's play on Train, right? So Train's picked, and they're going to be feeling confident on that. Inferno, a map that Renegades are not exactly pushovers either on that because they're banned on Mirage, right? So 2 maps of Renegades can definitely take the win over Tyloo. And then Tyloo banning out Dust 2 and playing Overpass, a map where they've shown nothing.
I think
they've
with their
lost.
playstyle, it'll be better for Tyloo on Dust 2.
Oh,
Maybe-
yeah, exactly. So this doesn't make any sense. I really think...
Maybe they have, whilst they've been here, had a bit of practice on it, and also seen the way Renegades have played against Tainted just now, and just in a moment of spontaneity said, look, we could potentially do this. It could be a good decider map for us.
Possible.
but I'm not a big fan here. Look, I'll be very honest. Just looking at the map veto, if Tyloo need to win the series, it's got to be 2-0. They have to 2-0 this. If it goes to the third map, Renegade's going to take it 2-1. Just calling out right there.
Well, that's your prediction. I'm taking that as official word from
Renegades.
Sudhen and Eric, yourself.
I take Renegades 2-1.
Okay, well, to play devil's advocate and also to have a bit of hope for that Chinese side, that Chinese-Indonesian side, I'm going to go with Tyloo and I'm going to say 2-1 because I'd love to see them go on to Overpass and somehow win it out. Now, we are ready to go with this final matchup, the grand final of this Asia Minor. These two teams have already qualified for the major in September. Now they are fighting for pride and to prove a point, and also the lion's share of $50,000. Let's get our two community casters involved. It's their second event with FACEIT. They started at ECS and they're getting to cast a grand final of a minor. It is Dinko and Hawker.
Thank you, Pal. Yeah, I'm super excited to get into a grand final of the Asian Minor. It's going to be a good one as well. One that many expected, Tyloo taking on Renegades. Now, this one's going to be interesting. They've already played together against each other already in this minor so far. That was an incredibly exciting and close game between the two teams, and you've seen some of the similar maps. There's a little bit of a change with Overpass coming in as the third map decider. That'll be an interesting one if it goes to that. The desk is saying that they think Tyloo will have to win this 2-0 fashion to win the entire game. So I don't know. I think that'll be true, but I think they could take it 2-0. To be fair, I think Inferno and Train are going to be maps that they can play quite well on.
Sure. I mean, again, the last time they played against each other, it was 16-14 on Train, and then it went into overtime on Inferno, and Renegades managed to win Inferno, but it just goes to show this is going to be a really, really close first few maps. The interesting thing about Train, obviously, as I was saying in that previous series, was that Renegades won the T side of Train 11-4. Generally, if you win the T side of Train 11-4, you're going to expect to win the map, but Tyloo managed to come back to win Train 16-14 when these two teams met earlier in this one. And you can see Captain Mo limping his way onto his feet just to get into the huddle with the boys. You can see there his leg is a bit messed up. You know, when I first got here, I went to the elevator and Captain Mo was just getting wheeled out on the wheelchair, and I was like, damn, this is real. It's a real injury.
Yeah, definitely. We've seen him hopping about the event. So, yeah, get into this one. You know, we've already seen Renegades play Train today. They have just come out of, you know, qualifying for the major. They just came out of that first game of the day where they were able to beat Tainted Minds. The first map was Train, and it was 16-9 in favor of Renegades. It was rather comfortable. There was times when Tainted Minds, you know, maybe caused a little bit of a stir for Renegades. Then they went on to the second map, Overpass, and they looked sharp on that one, winning 16-3. You know, Renegades, you know, they were talking about people thinking they aren't so great on Overpass, and then they've proven today that they are a very good team on Overpass. They're a force to be reckoned with, as they'll be practicing that one. So, yeah, Overpass is going to be an interesting one if it goes to that third map. It'll be probably favouring Renegades in that one. So, coming into this, Renegades, it's going to be Train, because the first map they played today, they were able to win that. So, Train's going to be a good one for Renegades. I think Tyloo obviously have played them already on it, and they won 16-14. So we're going to likely see a back and forth game once again between the two teams, which will be extremely interesting. So getting into the pistol, Tyloo going to be on the CT side. DD goes up towards upper B to see if he can get anything done early doors, but not really going to see anything too much. So Renegades are going to deploy a couple of players towards upper, take down DD, and that opens up the round.
In theory, it opens up the B-bomb site, but they don't know that, so they're just going to be holding back. Ooh, okay, kills coming in as Captain Mo gets 3. No, sorry, 2 kills. Somebody got 2 in the meantime. They had 2 players in towards Pop Dog there, and that is an absolute shutdown. Renegades, after getting the opening pick, just get completely wrecked in towards Pop Dog, and honestly, there's not much to say about this one, right? It's just a crossfire between somebody and Mo. They just land all the shots. Easy pickings for the USPs. And that leaves Renegades having to go for pistols, but they've got themselves quite a few Desert Eagles, so they can still take some long-range fights. And, oh, hello, Captain Mo with the auto-shotty in play. He's going to want to get up close. Oh, great shot. That's Mo gone. That's the shotgun out of action. I was going to say, right, the cool thing about the shotguns is that you get a $900 kill reward, even more than the SMGs. So if you can use them, it can be a real big boost to the team, but Mo won't be using his shotgun in this round. He's already dead.
It would have been really cool to see him Pop Dog. We've seen what he could do with the pistols when they drop down Pop. It would have been extremely exciting to see what he could do with an XM. Although we don't get to see that. He gets 1 deek. Now will be Renegades taking a man advantage. Jacob is very low himself. Nifty trying to play with his deagle down towards Ivy to find Execute. Just rattling a couple of shots through the smoke, and Execute replying with some more himself. Tyloo. Be a man down, but they shouldn't really be sweating too much. I mean, they've got the rifles on, they've got utility. There's only one SMG into the mix, and that is that UMP in the hands of Bintet. He's a player you got to really look out for if you're Renegades. He's someone that can cause a lot of trouble. Somebody gonna find himself the kill. DD will step up as well, and they're just not allowing Renegades any space here. They're not allowed to come out of the choke points. You're stuck in Team A and you're stuck in Pop Dog. There's no way you're getting out of them unless you do that. Still grabs on with the deagle. Still stuck in Team Ian, however. Trying to edge his way out. DD needs to be careful not to get caught out. But Renegades, they get 2 kills with the pistols, and pretty good job done by them, I guess. There was a little bit of damage there, but ultimately Tyloo will be looking for the 3rd here.
Yeah, almost guaranteed to get this 3rd round on the board here. Full eco for Renegades. This is one of those rounds where if Renegades even get 1 kill, it would maybe be a surprise. They are going to go towards the B-bomb site where there are a couple of CTs waiting, DD being one of them. Oh, a wild spray down. It's Execute to chime in, and the MP9 gets 4 frags. Some nice extra money for Execute there, especially as he's the AWPer of the team. If he wants to buy that up, he certainly can, and he goes straight for that sniper because he had $7,000. So it's cool for him to get that kill reward and get that AWP out ASAP. Not something that Renegades have the luxury of buying on their side, though, right? Nifty's going to go for the rifle. Again, I think on the T side of Train, you know, it's fine to go with the AK some of the time, especially if you can't afford the AWP, or if you can, you're going to be going for it with a weak buy. Like, Nifty could have saved earlier if he wanted to get the AWP out, but I like the idea of just instead going for the force buy. You don't really need that AWP. Renegades, they're going to be leaning towards B. If they go for a quick push, they could have some success here. They're going to try and burst down ramp, but Bunte, oh, I was going to say could stop them, but he gets taken out. And now DD is in a pretty rough position. I think he's just going to have to allow the bomb to go down.
Renegades get in, the bomb going down, and Captain Mo will actually grab Bustilla with a grenade Doesn't even have to see his opponents to take them down. And now it's JK sitting in underneath the smoke, just waiting for a player to come on through. It's going to come his way just yet, so that smoke begins to dissipate. And Captain Mo may lose his head very quickly, but JK's been distracted, turns around to find DD. And Captain Mo, with the information, able to take him. So it will be a 3 versus 2. Tyloo with a man advantage, but Azur going to find the reply. And it will be down to Nifty just dancing in the smoke, and they just cannot find this bomb. Nifty thought they were possibly on it, goes for the knife, but he'll clean them up. Both kills go in favor of Renegades, and the round as well.
Nifty did die to the bomb there, but yeah, the bomb was planted actually up on the bomb train, which it isn't the standard plant, so I kind of understand why Tyloo couldn't find that one. We are going to see a force buy from the Chinese/Indonesian lineup. Somebody takes the AWP. Xcurit has the scout instead because he doesn't have the economy for that premium sniper. We have to see somebody take an aggressive angle with the AWP, looking in towards A main. Has to be a little bit scared of Pop Dog, but we will be fine for now. Xcurit holding with his scout in the meantime. It's Nifty on the other side with an AK who could try and fight on towards him, but I think Xcurit's just going to deploy that smoke, make sure that no aggression can come through. Interestingly, Tyloo don't have a massive amount of utility to work with because of the fact that this is a weakened buy. Only a few nades left on the CT side of things, so I think because of that, that's why you see the AWP of somebody taking an aggressive position towards A main. On the Renegade side, though, they're just going to sit back. There's a little over a minute left on the clock. They still have a lot of time to work with, and they will just be waiting patiently, but finally some nades being deployed.
Grenades can be used up, and Nifty just going to clear out Ivy very methodically, just making sure that they can't be caught out by anything. By a player playing close, in an off angle, etc. The flashbang goes over the top. Renegades deploy their way through Ivy, and this is where Tyloo need to step up. Azur has found the kill for Renegade. The follow-up from Ustillo. Azur finally falls to Xcurit, who finds himself one of the scout as well. Ustillo, the only player for Renegades, picking up a kill with the Galil here. He will put the bomb down on the spot. Nifty is there to help him out, but it's a 2 versus 2, and Xcurit again, once again with the scout, finding 3 kills into the round, and now it's all onto DD, and Xcurit to take Nifty down. He'll be on his own, just covering them off. He will have an AK, close shot. Nifty making this work so far. It's down to Xcurit. He's found 3 already, but not the 4th. Nifty is here to play, and he's had a bit of a quieter tournament, obviously being a little bit poorly, a bit under the weather. But he's definitely showing up here on train early doors there, winning the clutch out for Renegades.
I wonder if the communication becomes a factor there, because Xcurit peeking with the scout, I mean, I guess he has to go with the scout, but he did land the chest shot. So, you know, if Xcurit thought the opponent was low, then he would have won the round, right? If just a bit of damage had been done to Nifty, but that wasn't the case. And because of that, Nifty survives on about 30 health at the end of the round. JKS just looking for some info. Won't be able to spot anyone in towards Pop Dog. In the meantime, Mo playing up close with a pistol. Shouldn't be a massive amount of chances here for Tyloo. Obviously, Renegades seem to be taking a pretty slow style at the start of this one, which is understandable, especially against the pistols in this round. Jacob can afford to take some risks, though, with the MAC-10 in play. Pushing his way through upper would be a risk. He decides against it. Tyloo going to take a gamble, and ooh, DD. Oh, wow. How does he not get that kill? 4 HP on towards Jacob, and you can see Mo seems to be aware of that. He was trying the wallbang. Not going to find it. It's a man advantage for Renegades as Jacob somehow wins that opening fight.
Jacob has just evaded death, very slightly, being down to 4 HP. Renegades going to deploy their nades out onto the A-bomb site. Going to go for a very standard sort of hit. The firebombs clearing every area that's required. The Molotovs now gone, and no one really being tested by them on the Tyloo side, so they will all be over towards B, rotating back. And Renegades, they'll be pretty happy with how this one goes. They haven't really been met with too much resistance. And Tyloo, they've got to try and retake this one. Bringing in a CZ is going to be Xcurit, clearing every angle towards even Ivy, just trying to make sure no one is there that can catch him out. I think Tyloo just setting up for some extra frags. I think this is the best sort of option for them. I mean, it wouldn't really matter too much if they went for it, but they just want to try and get as much damage as possible. Azure gonna come out towards them. Eventually, we'll see Tyloo probably just walk towards the side of the map where Azure is standing. And eventually, Renegades exiting through Ivy. Don't want to lose anything. I think Azure knows there's a player close. Should do at least, and there goes somebody. He grabs him. 3 to 3, and Tyloo kind of lost a little bit of control here. Renegades edging their way back into the start of this half.
I don't really know why Tyloo are just saving their guns if they're going to buy up into this round. Like they just
it's a bit weird.
All they saved is pistols, right? I don't even think anyone had Kevlar, so you probably might as well play for the exit kills. I guess maybe you don't want to, you know, gift money over to the opponents. Jacob with the Mac 10 could have maybe farmed some more frags. So that's one side you could look at, but I think they should have been aware that Jacob was low on health. Either way, Renegades have set a pretty slow sort of pace so far in the start of this map. They've gone for some incredibly slow-paced rounds, and so I'm intrigued to see if that will continue to be the case or if they switch things up. Nifty going to take a little bit of punishment. It's Mo who gets caught in the open. That's a really awkward spot. He was near E-box, but he wasn't in cover, and that means that Azza finds 2 headshots and basically opens up the A-bomb site, apart from Excurate Zorp.
Excurate with a glass cannon. He's going to find the opening. JCam going to fall. Still low. He's going to be waiting for the trade. Excurate is going to peek this angle eventually, but actually doesn't overextend. He peeks, but doesn't overextend the angle. And Justillo is not granted the kill just yet, but he's aware that there's a player there on the left. Sees the barrel of the AWP, and Excurate's going to lose his head. Justillo, the patience pays off. And Renegades, they have the bomb down as well. Tyloo, bit of a scary position for them to be in. A 2 versus 3 retake situation. And Bentet, he's in behind the E-box. DD and Bentet, they have to do this. Bentet finds the first. Time is ticking. Nifty finds another headshot, and DD, he cracks one open, picks up the ult, but I don't think there's a chance to win this. No time, so DD is gone. Nearly catches out Nifty, but he'll be granted safe passage into the next round, and that will be Renegades up to 4.
I was a little worried Nifty might be too close to the bomb, but it only hits him for 20, so he does survive. There's that spray down from Azza. You can see Tyloo just caught out in the open there, and the other player with them on the A-bomb site, Excurate, wasn't in position to assist with the AWP. So that was a bit of an awkward hold from Tyloo. I think the timing kind of went against them because, you know, Mo was repositioning as the push came through. Either way, Tyloo with the saved AWP, gone for some investment into this round. Excurate has had a pretty good start to this game, already up there at 8 kills. I don't think too many of them have been with that AWP though, but he's got the chance to prove himself with that sniper now. I think Excurate might be the only player here from the Asian minor who it's their first time qualifying, because yesterday he was getting really excited, or the day before even, when he qualified, he was getting pumped up that he was going to get the sticker and all that good stuff. Speaking of Excurate, he's got the opening kill of the round, spots a second player crossing but doesn't pull the trigger. Wow. I'm surprised JKS jumped off the ladder there, but he will be okay. In the meantime, somebody coming up close with the CZ might have the chance here. He heard the step. Jacob gives away his position, but still wins the fight. Excurate's attempting to work this one back into the round as it goes into a 3v3, but it's going to be a tough retake.
Will be extremely difficult, and the bomb will be taken away. Tyloo don't even look like they want to go for it here. Will be edging their one closer at least.
Oh.
Azure gonna get caught out by DD. Surely there's the kill with the MP9. Pulls out the rifle, gets dropped almost immediately by JKS, who is unaware that there's a second player here. Bentet, he's gonna finally find that kill. A little bit scary for him in the fact that it took so long to do so, but he is able to fall back nevertheless. That would be the round 4. Renegades once again up to 5 on the board. And this is looking a lot better for the Renegades team. They have, you know, when they went up against Tyloo, it was, again, a very, very close game. So we're likely to see another close one come through here on train. It's shaping up to be that way. Renegades have salvaged control of the start of the half. Tyloo started it off well, but Renegades have come into it all guns blazing. And been picking them up quite cleanly. And now Tyloo, the maximum loss bonus, going to chime together so they now can pick up the AWP and the 4 rifles along with utility across the boarding kits. So this is a lot stronger for Tyloo.
One of the most surprising things... Oh, that's surprising. Buntet gets 2 kills right at the start of the round. I was going to say one of the most surprising things is that Renegades have found this success so far without JKS really having to do anything. I think he got 1 kill in that previous round, but other than that, he hasn't been too much of a factor so far. So there's potential for Renegades to have even more success if he continues to, you know, play as he has in the previous games. Even if he's off to a slow start in this one, his form has been excellent throughout this Asian minor. Either way, over on the Tyloo side, I think Buntet is obviously the standout player on their side of things, and it's him who has opened up this round with a double spray down. He managed to get both those kills without even taking any damage, which is incredibly impressive. With 55 seconds left, Renegades are just kind of hoping a mistake is made, but that's not going to be the case. Tyloo again have those 2 players stacked into Pop Dog. They're actually leaving the A site really vulnerable here. They only really have Xcurate committed to holding the A bomb site. They're almost leaving Ivy open, which is a bit of a surprise, but it might pay off because Renegades are going to be filtering through towards B, and Buntet is here ready and waiting. A 3rd frag on the round. Make it 4. Buntet making it look easy with the AK as he gets them all. Final headshot found, and Buntet is always that man on Tyloo that can step up, and he single-handedly wins them the round.
Tyloo really needs to win that one as well, because if they had lost it, that would have given Renegades a huge window to sort of run away with it a couple more rounds before we see Tyloo really get back to what they had. So Renegades, they will be in a great position currently with 5 rounds on the board, but Tyloo, they are starting to come back. This is where things look good for the Chinese side. Renegades, they had their opportunity to get a couple more, but Tyloo have finally put an end to it and have themselves the rifles, the AWP, and Renegades, it's the 5 D-Eagles. So let's see what they can get done with the D-Eagles. We know they have some very skilled players with those weapons, so they still pose a massive threat. So Tyloo have to give them some respect when it comes to it. There's the AWP from Xcurate down inside of the connector. DD chiming in as well. Great jobs done by the 3 players. And somebody will add his name to that list. Picking himself up a kill, and DD will finish off the job towards the ramp. So 5-5 scoreline even once again, and this is starting to shape up to be a very close engagement between the 2 teams. It was a bit different earlier on when Renegades were playing. They had it was a bit of a strange one actually. I think Renegades, you know, picked up a really strong start, and then Tinted a little bit further into the game, they were able to spring up the rounds a little bit more. But you know, Renegades and Tyloo, they've been having it pretty easy throughout the minor. I feel they've had to face teams that are a little bit less experienced than them, but when they play together, that's when you start to see the rivalry build between them.
Buntet again trying to get aggressive. Worked well previously, however this time he won't be able to find a fight just yet. Ooh, they're boosting over the smoke on the other side. It's Nifty who can look over this one. If Buntet were to peek, he could be in trouble. He comes in. Buntet just pushed up. Buntet's in the close corner now. He's managed to sneak his way here. I don't know if Renegades will expect this because Nifty's been boosted up this entire time. Oh no, will they clear the corner? Ustillo does check the angle. Good awareness from Renegades that was a possibility. And taking down Buntet is a great start to the round. Again, something to discuss on the Renegades side of things. I think this is the first game where JKS has got off to a bad start, and sometimes when I watch his body language, he looks like a player that could be quite emotional. So I wonder if, you know, he oftentimes looks kind of frustrated, right? So I kind of hope he doesn't continue to struggle. It would be nice if he could get a couple of kills on the board just to, you know, make sure he doesn't get too frustrated. But with 40 seconds left, that smoke into a main will be used by Azza to push forwards. That was a CT smoke, but Azza on 20 HP will try and sell some presence towards A, while the rest of his team are currently grouped up around the B bomb site, and B is currently wide open.
Yes, Renegades setting up quite well into B. The utility going to be used up as well. I think Tyloo will realize this eventually and try and pull the players back into the bomb site, but perhaps it's a little bit too late, and Azza is in behind them as well. This could get messy as Tyloo have to retake it. Ustillo has the control towards the oil train, able to chime in. Xcurate will grab one back, but still, it's JKM to strike. There's Xcurate falling. Captain Mo down in behind the oil train, about to make his way through, carrying the M4A4. There's the kill from JKS. And somebody, he's just been locked out of the bomb site. There's no way he can get back in. So the call, most likely just to set up for an exit and try and get that M4A4 into the next round.
Yeah, nice round from Renegades. I mean, obviously, Tyloo, after losing the opening fight, just kind of took a gamble towards A. I think it's a reasonable risk because Buntet obviously died over towards Ivy, so they saw a couple of players in towards A. They decided it was worth that risk, and unfortunately for Tyloo, it doesn't pay off for them this time around. Into this next round, though, Tyloo still have money. Excurat's someone who's been showing up so far. It's actually the two Indonesians top fragging for the Tyloo side. He's up there at 13 frags with his AWP. As we head into round number 12. Both teams with similar amounts of money in the bank. It's a little bit up for debate as to whether or not they could buy if they lost this round. So quite an important stage of the game towards the end of this first half. Smoke deployed by Buntet. Again, this Ivy aggression pretty constant from Tyloo. This time Buntet going to a slightly different position. Renegades surely have to be aware that that's a possibility. They've already seen it a couple of times, so Buntet may be getting a bit predictable. As Captain Mo with that second AWP doesn't pull the trigger, but continues to look towards A main. Ooh, he gets flashed up, so he won't be able to get that frag, but it's somebody to find the opener instead.
Tyloo perhaps coming alive in this round with the man advantage going their way. We try and get some more off the back of this as well. We have control of Ivy. A is under wraps as well, so really Renegades are being kind of forced to go towards B at the moment. They don't have map control anywhere else. And I think they know that Tyloo will have the info, so they really do have to commit to the B bombs at the moment. Seems as though they do want to do that. Straight down lower. They're going to run in, and it's going to be Stillo to find the opening. DD loses his head. Back into a 4 versus 4. Execute needs to step up with the AWP. There's the kill needed. Jumps on the ladder to get the info, but Nifty's ready for that frag. He knows that Execute likes to peek that, and Nifty can get a little bit more here as well because somebody is coming in from the flank, and Nifty holding that angle very patiently. Somebody walks around that corner. Nifty should be able to collect the kill. Somebody dancing with it. 2 players walk in, and Nifty unable to get any. So pressure starting to build for Nifty now. Has to find his way out of this corner with the AWP. Not going to happen. Buntet's rifle meets his head. It's now Stillo and JKS. Who's still down on 3 HP, but still makes it work onto 2. It's all on Buntet, the best player in the Asian continent. And he has to find a 1 versus 2. He finds the first on the JKS, and he finds the kill onto Stillo, but there's no time for him to work with, and he'll have to back away as Renegades will win the round.
Yeah, obviously no time at the end there for Buntet, even though he gets the 2 kills. I think even if he got the 2 kills like straight away, that there was just no time there. But interestingly enough, I think Excurat might have made a little mistake there, right? On that initial B hold, he was there at the B site at the start of the round, and he got the 1 kill. I think he did his job, and that re-peek in towards upper, I like the fact he was playing for the information at first, because he went up the ladder, he got the information, he spotted that Nifty was in position, and then the jump peek just felt completely unnecessary. He was trying to force another frag when they had the man advantage, and a 4v3 retake on B with a decent amount of utility for Tyloo, that looked like a very doable round. If anything, I probably had them as slight favourites there, but instead Excurat just unfortunately kind of gives away his life, and if he didn't do that, then the flank could have come in, Nifty could have been in trouble. Either way, Excurat's been playing very well so far, so I don't want to harp on him too much because he is still at the top of the scoreboard. He's been landing plenty of shots. And again, we are going to see that AWP given into his hands as we head into round 13. I was saying that it's a little bit questionable as to whether these teams could buy after the round loss, but Tyloo can still get themselves a buy together. Renegades, though, really switching up the pace. They're going to go for a quick A play. Trades coming in thick and fast. It's back to a 3v3, and the rotate has come in from Tyloo. They're pretty prepared for this one.
Tyloo, this has to be the round for them. It's Stillo just trying to cause a little bit of a stir. Nifty will find the headshot, so man advantage for Renegades once again. And DD and Azur, they're going to bite the jewel down here, and DD is the man to win it out. He will find it. 2 versus 2. Kill comes in from Buntet, and the man advantage now falls in favour of Tyloo. And the bomb is not down, and Nifty has got a difficult situation ahead of him, and Buntet will win it out. 7-6, and Tyloo will get 6 rounds on the board. They're starting to look a little bit better. Again, it's back and forth we go. Very, very close between the 2 teams.
Yeah, so in general, you would expect Train to be rather CT-sided, but I mean, I've said this so many times now, but again, these 2 teams, they played each other on Train. Both of them had incredible T-sides when they played against each other. Tyloo took 12 rounds on their T-side compared to Renegades taking 11 on theirs in the end last time these teams played Train. So clearly they are both capable on that terrorist side of things. Excurate finds an easy kill up against the pistols, and Excurate keeps on going. 3 kills for him. Ooh, is the bomb going to get planted here? It shouldn't be. There's a player up there. Yeah, Buntet will stop that from happening. It was a bit of a big rotate, but Buntet more than capable of killing one player with a pistol in his hands. And again, Excurate seems to be the difference maker here. Up there at 17 for 6. He's been putting in a shift on the CT side of Train. And, you know, Nifty hasn't had the AWP, I don't think, as often. And generally on the T side, it's going to be obviously a bit more difficult to use that AWP. But Excurate dominating proceedings so far, alongside Buntet having plenty of impact plays. Wow, funnily enough, Buntet's only died 4 times, even though they've lost 7 rounds. So clearly he's been saving a lot, even though he's been getting pretty aggressive at the start of some of these rounds. And you can see again Buntet trying to push towards Ivy. The same nades being used, but elsewhere, Excurate goes down. Nifty managing to find him. Looks like a leg shot was landed. Kills coming across the board for Renegades. They find a couple of openings. And Tyloo now might have to take a gamble, because take a look at the minimap. The CTs are so isolated from each other. I think they have to take a risk here to get themselves back into this round. In a 3v5, it's not going to be easy, and BD does find a frag, so that makes it a bit more doable. And here's the gamble from Tyloo. They'll stack 2 players towards B. Don't know if it'll pay off, though, because Mo is having to solo hold the A site. No, the rotate comes in, so Buntet just gets to the A site in the nick of time.
Captain Mo, he's going to get dropped almost immediately by Azur. And this opens up Buntet. We talked about his performance so far. He really needs to show up, but goes down again. There's 1 more death added to the tally, bringing himself up to 5. Still not a lot. DD, well, 4 to JKS. And Renegades, they'll win out the half 8-7 from the T side on Trin. A very good performance from them. They should be pretty happy with how the first half went. I mean, if you look at the scoreboard, it's quite strange to see JKS at the bottom of it. Considering the performances he even had at the first game today, he's obviously feeling it. It's just not needed at this point, perhaps. And if he can wake up, like you said, Renegades, if they can keep it like it is now, and they get JKS going off, then that's going to be scary for Tyloo.
I always like to watch whenever it's the Tyloo player cams exactly what the comms look like, because it looked like Buntet was actually talking to Mo there. I'm not exactly sure how much English the Chinese guys speak, but clearly Buntet was able to communicate with them that time around.
It's crazy how Buntet can keep up his performance. Also in him leading a team of lots of different nationalities, lots of different first languages. And it's crazy how he can lead the team and also keep up his individual performance in that fashion. So Tyloo, they're coming into the pistol 1 round down. This is as close as you can get really the first half, as you probably expect coming into this game. But Tyloo definitely want to try and change it up. Look how much utility they've bought. Smoke and a flash on Excurate. Captain Mo going to carry a smoke and a flash as well. The rest of the team with Kevlar. Buntet has a P250, so does Accurate. So they make their way up for B. Tyloo just trying to play like a contact play down towards lower, just getting ready for a burst push once the utility comes in. Just rush into the bomb site.
I think this is a very similar setup to what we saw from Tyloo the last time these teams played on the pistol. They went towards B, and Renegades are ready for it. They've got the stack. JKS up on the bomb site. This is a weird position, but it pays off for him. Somehow he's still alive as he eventually goes down, but the damage is done. Renegades are in position on B, but Excurate battling back, gets a couple of kills, and the flank is still coming through, but he gets hunted. Now it's Buntet trying to flank with the P250. They might not expect him to be here, but Azza is looking the right way. Buntet up close, gets the first, but there is the instant trade, and Renegades do get that all-important pistol round thanks to a 3-man B stack.
Renegade, this is such a strong angle from JKS, because you're not going to check that too often in a pistol round. I mean, it does have some risk to it, but it makes it work. They still will finish off the job, so Renegades, they go 9-7, and this is looking good for them. Full SMGs across the board, though, and Tyloo have invested in the CZs and the Deagles. So, you know, full SMG sometimes can be a risk. You want to maybe see a rifle in the mix there, maybe even one FAMAS, to kind of be that insurance policy to make sure that you do win the round, because sometimes there is sort of that risk that the pistols you buy on the other team can definitely upset after you win the pistol. So, can't allow Tyloo to do so. Ooh, need to be careful.
So the push is probably going to come through Ivy, and Renegades have vacated that position right now. That's kind of interesting. I kind of wish Tyloo bought at least 1 or 2 nades here, right? Because just a simple flash can make the push so much easier towards the bomb site. But if they went towards A right now, they'd have a reasonable chance. Azza finally spots them out. He should call to his teammates that they could be under pressure. Azza about to spot the player out. MP9 struggling there. Extra gets the opening kill. Another frag found, and the A site is completely open for business. It's only Ustillo who can try and stop the push forwards, but the bomb is going to get to the site, and Renegades are in trouble now, especially with only those SMGs.
Bomb goes down, stick it away, and Tyloo is going to be looking to try and take this one over the board. This is the risk that you're on, having so many SMGs and literally no rifle presence. He still gets one, Accurate able to reply with a deagle, but gets another, and this is looking great for Tyloo, and they win the round off the back of it. 9-8, and Tyloo, this is incredible. That is the risk, though, if you run the 5 SMGs. You have no rifle presence that can challenge at long range against the pistols too well. I mean, you look at the UMP, that's probably the better weapon at long range, but even that, it does have a significant damage drop-off at long range. So Renegades, after winning the pistol, lose the following, and just allow Tyloo back into the start of the second half. Now Tyloo have control of the economy game, and also kind of the control of the start of the half. If they can start to build up momentum and sort of dictate the pace, Renegades could find it hard to get back into it. So pause does come in from Renegades, just trying to take a pause, take a chill. But these are the deagle frags, the crucial ones from Execure, just finding them when they're needed. And that puts Tyloo up to 8 rounds.
And I think one of the biggest tasks for Ryu, the coach of Renegades, is going to be to sort of ensure they stay in a positive mindset, because sometimes you will see these players get a bit frustrated. Seems like he is calling the pauses at the right time, right? That's one of the rounds that really could frustrate the team. So he's calling the pause at the right time to try and counteract that. He was having quite a lot of words with them there. And they've gone for a bit of a B-stack. There's a couple of players here, as well as a quick rotate available. Ooh, this nade could do some damage towards the bomb site. JKS joined by another one from Jacob. Decent damage done. JKS gets a double with the CZ, and all of a sudden, it's all going in favor of Renegades. This just completely caught me off guard as JKS gets another. What is going on? JKS finds all 4 frags, and I think he may have had a little smile this time after finding that round win. There we go. He's having a laugh about that one, because that was insane. The CZ just running and gunning, gets himself the AK for the final frag, and this is beautiful.
You always need an individual play when you're down like that. Like, you're in a situation where you're just so out of it and kind of being disrupted. Tyloo had the chance there in Renegades. They had an individual play from JKS, 4K, and obviously he's had a bit of a slower start to the game, and he just comes into it, and that should fire him up. That's maybe the push that JKS needed to wake him up in this game, and if Renegades can get him going, then again, this is looking very promising for them. It's going to be the smoke. We're down towards Ivy. Tyloo just trying to connect a shot through. Azza, he's not going to fall for that. He's just going to hop across. And he believes the Deagles are reloading. And evades danger. And now Tyloo, they fall back from Ivy. They're going to try and relocate their positioning towards T main. And most likely just try and hit out onto the A site. They haven't really got much utility work at all, so nothing. So it's going to be a very dry push, just hoping to get out towards Olaf and then just separate across the A bomb site and see where they can get done. But the angles are great from Ustillo. Jake came up inside of heaven, able to make it work, just has great cover everywhere and a vantage point. So here's going to be Renegades up to 11 and definitely taking control of the second half. And that puts Tyloo in a very scary situation because they don't really have money, Alex.
Yeah, and again, I think the last time these teams played Train, Renegades probably should have won. So I actually kind of like the fact that they were willing to go for this one again into this series, because it shows that they are confident that they've improved, and also that they're going to get a few more rounds on that CT side, and that's exactly the case so far. Need to make sure they don't lose against the Pistols here. Again, wow, Renegades have pushed through B. I don't really like this risk on this round. Like, the bomb could go down towards A so easily. Look at where Renegades are positioned on the map. They have, like, no map control. I mean, they pushed through B, but the push could have come into A in the meantime, and Tyloo are actually going to go into the back lanes. This could get interesting here. Buntek gets the opening kill. They're in towards CT. In the meantime, Jacob finds one back, but it's going to be the B push, and Azza is alone here. Bomb's going to come forward. Azza low on health. He goes down, and now a bomb plant is almost guaranteed. Renegades, oh, they're gonna lose this round at this rate. It's down to a 2v4, and this is ridiculous. The bomb about to be planted. Jacob trying to stop it, but I don't think he can do too much here. He nearly gets a kill, but he can't deny the bomb plant.
Again, another round you just do not expect to happen. Renegades on the back foot in this one. They've got to really go for this retake. JKM goes on. What can he see? He finds DD up towards heaven, able to take him. Looking for a little bit more. JKS chiming through the smoke, just trying to connect something. But you look at this point, you're just wondering whether or not Renegades should have just saved these rifles. There's a couple of players with money left. Some of them don't have too much to work with, so this becomes a little bit scary for Renegades, because this back and forth style of Counter-Strike where you lose a round, win a round, it's never going to favor the CT economy.
So here's the thing, they never should have lost that round, but I think playing for those kills kind of makes it worthwhile, because Renegades can still actually go for the full buy here. They have a bit more money than you might have first thought, so they're okay to buy. They can still get AWPs on their side if they want. Nifty currently with a rifle, but JKS buys the AWP. Something we saw again in the previous series. JKS taking the AWP on the CT side of Train instead of Nifty, and this time it's JKS again going for that B peak. So he will be alone on the B bomb site with the AWP. We'll see what he can get done as he goes for the peak. He will be forced back by the molly. So that might force Renegades to rotate a player back. You know, JKS isn't getting any advanced information this time around. Renegades are going into a main though. Because they have 4 players on this side of the map, they're confident and they're going to push further. This is interesting. You don't see this too often. The flash is well timed. Somebody is going to spot them out, but it looks like Renegades have thought that it's maybe not the best idea to push all the way through. They had second thoughts about that one. Nifty now going to push through Ivy. So aggressive from Renegades, but it might not work. Excurate doesn't get the kill, but it's Mo to chime in. 2 kills from him. 3 smokes, I think, deployed towards Ivy there from Tyloo. We saw that previously in this tournament. It's back to a 3 versus 2 here, and Jacob, oh, just gets wrecked by Mo. Great round by Mo so far, but JKS has that one.
JKS pulling one out of the bag, but still, it's a 1 versus 2. Bintet and Accurate, both very low HP. So perhaps the AWP not the greatest weapon for the situation. Perhaps a rifle would be more kind to him. But he will still try to make it work. Tyloo still have not planted the bomb. They will attempt to at this point as the bomb is tossed from the top of the train. Accurate gotta get to punch the digits in. Puts it down on the bomb site. Makes his way away from the scene of the crime. He makes his way back into Olaf. Coming in from Connector. JKS has a lot on his shoulders currently, and seems as though at this point might just want to save that AWP. So Tyloo, they will answer back once again. It's going to be 10-11, the scoreline. And the Renegades, their money is down the drain. They'll have literally nothing to work with apart from that AWP. So actually, this could be an option for them. So basically, with the AWP, that's a weapon you can buy around pretty easily. So if you can buy CZs around this weapon, maybe a couple of Deagles, that's actually a viable option. And in fact, they will have enough to probably, well, there is that option, right? You could save and you get a buy into the next one, or you can buy the CZs around the AWP and go for a round win. They know that Tyloo's economy still isn't that strong. If one round, then they could set them back themselves. So, Renegades, do they risk it and go for the play, or do they just go for the safe option? I think they're just going to go for the safe option, yes. So, yeah, this is the call. You know, just eco on everybody apart from JKS. Try and do some significant damage, but just allow yourself to get onto the rifles into the next one.
Ooh, not the best start for JKS. Trying to work the opening pick. It certainly makes sense to just stay in the molly there, just hope that Tyloo sort of overlook that being a possibility. However, JKS takes some damage for his troubles, and no one else on the team has armor, so he's just going to stick with the AWP for the time being. Ooh, I don't think that's quite the run boost that Mo wanted there, but he's all good. He will stay alive. Again, this has been a very scrappy game. Maybe even I would say a sloppy game. We've seen quite a few mistakes, I think, being made. That one round where Renegades... Oh, nice shot from JKS. But that one round where Renegades, they're up against pistols and they just decided to push through B. Maybe that was a misread of the economy? I'm not exactly sure, but it just seemed like a really strange decision. Jacob goes up the ladder. Excurate's on the other side with the AWP, so there was a chance there that he could maybe get the kill, but Excurate stops the aggression with his Molotov. Tyloo are a man down, and JKS is towards the B bomb site with the AWP, and it seems like Tyloo want to go towards B, so maybe a chance for JKS to try and stop them.
There is indeed, and JKS is not anymore. He's dropped by somebody who
They can get the AWP though.
barrels out of inner. Yeah, pick up the AWP in the hands of JKM. If they can maybe try and do something with it or just try and save it. Got either option. So we'll still have money. I don't know if they'll have enough for an AWP though in the next round. Actually, it will find Nifty. I don't think they will have enough for...
They should be saving one anyway, so should be alright.
Yeah, they have an AK in the AWP as well, so definitely just try and get those into the next one. Tyloo will be pretty happy at evening out the scoreline once again. Again, this map is so hard to call. Both teams have just been so back and forth, neither being able to, you know, pick up a goofy rounds in a row. It's been mostly... I think if we look actually at the top, we can see the most rounds someone's won in a row is 3, and that was, I believe, Tyloo at the start of the game. So that's a little bit crazy.
I think it was a 5-round streak at the start of Renegades T side there. They won 5 in a row, but yeah, other than that, yeah, it's definitely been a back and forth.
Oh yeah,
game.
I see that actually. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. Anyway, not too important. Nifty's going to have the AWP though, so that is something to watch for. JKS, I was going to say he's got $4,750. He might have been thinking about the AWP, but he's decided the M4 would be a better decision. Gets full utility alongside that, and it is a tactical timeout from Tyloo after winning 3 rounds in a row. I guess because they are now against a gun round, and also just because, you know, we're at a very close scoreline, a pretty important point of the game where, again, both teams don't have massive amounts of money built up because it's been so back and forth throughout this game. And we will see what Tyloo have in mind. They are going to be spreading out across the map. As they're thinking of some aggression, I think those nades would have slowed him down. He's still going to keep on going, though. This is something we saw Buntek do previously on the CT side for Tyloo, but this time, Azza is going to do the same. In fact, the exact same smoke. Doesn't look like he's going to fully commit to the push, though. So a bit of a slower round to start us off. Tyloo just holding for map control as Azza takes some damage through the smoke. I think because he took a little damage there, he's decided he's better off falling back. Again, not massive amounts of aggression here from Renegades. They've got a few advanced positions. Ustillo is pushed in towards Pop Dog, but nothing completely out of the ordinary. And with 58 seconds left, Tyloo still have a fair few nades to go for a push.
Nifty. Just holding down with the AWP towards Ivy. The player's coming into his crosshair, connects with Bintat. It's going to be the man advantage for Renegades. They definitely need it. Any advantage you can kind of find into a close game is massive. So if they can keep on to that. There goes Ustillo though. That double stack working out this time. Sometimes it can be a bit risky because if you drop and the player below can, you know, take both of you down, it can be a little bit risky because you lose 2 players for 1. But it works out here, and Ustillo loses his life, and that's a man advantage for Tyloo, who just push out onto the B bomb site. JKS connects to the first, falls back, unable to get the second, and it's JKM lining them both up, and there we go. DD, 1 versus 2. Huge plays from JKM, who just saves Renegades. But Nifty gonna fall inside of the connector, so it's all onto JKM to save him, and there's no time for Tyloo.
Yeah, needed the kill there. Again, the time goes against Tyloo this time around. They should be buying up into this next one. Again, we've been seeing this map and this series in the past few days be very, very close. And interestingly enough, these two teams in their overall history are 15 for 15. So it's a really, really back and forth, really close series between these two. They obviously play each other very, very often because of the Asian minor, because of the Asian scene, and no one seems to have the upper hand. So the winner of this grand final actually gets the bragging rights as well for a little while. So they will have slightly more wins until these two teams meet again, which I'm sure will come through soon because these teams, again, there's a little bit of a rivalry between them at this point because they've played so often. Either way, into this one, Tyloo have elected to force up. This time they don't have anywhere near as much utility, but they do have still enough for an execute if they want to go for the smokes, and already 2 of those smokes being deployed towards A. Bentet throws a third out, but it's going to be the push towards the B side of the map. Jacob just repositioning at the wrong time. He gets caught off guard. JKS now needs to step it up, but he whiffs the spray, and somebody going to get the kill. And it seems like that fake towards A may have prompted Jacob to reposition there. You know, he was probably trying to go back to connector because they had 2 players committed to B. They would have wanted a player to go and have a quick rotate from connector to the A bomb site. So that fake seemed to work perfectly for Tyloo.
It did indeed, and now Renegades, they're kind of forced to save. There's no other option, really. They have to try and get these weapons into that next one. Tyloo going to even out the scoreline once again. Shaping up to be exactly like the one we see, the last time we see the player trade went 16-14 in favor of Tyloo. So you can just see how close these two teams are together. Tyloo, in fact, did win the last minor. Nifty. Can't show a captain mode at the end of that round, so it's at least a kill coming in. But yeah, so Tyloo and the Renegades, definitely a rivalry being built between them. They are teams that do meet a lot in these sort of situations at the Asian Minors, so definitely a rivalry there. And again, playing for the bragging rights and the lion's share of the $50,000 prize pool.
Yeah, 30k for first, 15k for second. Not a bad payday for either of these two teams. And obviously they've got the chance to make more when they make it to the major, which is always a big, big plus. So Renegades taking the tactical timeout this time around, probably because they've got a bit of a mishmash of a buy. They've gone down to the car boot sale. They've bought what they can. They've managed to find an AWP in the rubble. Nifty with that one in his hands, but there's a few SMGs in the mix, UMPs in play. Don't know what Jacob has. I assume there's a weapon on the floor for him. Yeah, another UMP. So not exactly the best buy, and because of it, Renegades are going to have 3 players towards B. They're probably going to go for the aggression with those SMGs to try and take away part of the map. And Tyloo don't have anyone towards the B side here, so Renegades are going to get loads of information.
Renegades have a plethora of information. They know that Tyloo are nowhere near B. So getting ready to walk into the bomb side, and Nifty 2 for 1 with the AWP. Azure will help out as well. That's the bomb dropped. Tyloo put at an instant disadvantage, and JKS will chime in from Pop Dog. It's just all falling apart for the Tyloo side. They just have a slither of hope with Bentet. Oh, he spins around. This is looking doable for Bentet. He looks towards Pop Dog. He knows there's a player there. Comes down to timing. JKS still wins out the fight with the AWP this time. So 13-12. Renegades take the lead once more. And again, back and forth we go. But yeah, that 2 for 1 trade, 2 for 1 kill from Nifty was excellent. Here we get to see it again. He's going to connect with both of them. They line up for him, DD and somebody.
Wow.
That's it. They're just put at an instant 2-man disadvantage in that situation. So it's just incredibly hard to come back out of that.
You can see somebody trying to clear Pop Dog there, and then the player just runs in front of him. That's really unfortunate for Tyloo. Somebody was aware that was a possibility, however, doesn't get to land the shot. Pistols for Tyloo. Into round 26, that's never what you want, especially in such a close game. Azure with the smoke. There isn't a gap in this one.
Oh,
good damage done. If the nade also landed onto Excurate, that would have been an opening kill. Instead, Tyloo are just going to walk through this smoke. Azure does get caught! What a shot from Excurate! Insane start to the round, but Jacob's still here to try and stop them in their tracks. He gets himself 1 kill. However, luckily, there were also players behind him assisting the hold. DD gets a rifle. Not too bad for Tyloo. He won't be winning the round. At least some damage done, though. If only DD had the bomb, he would have a free path to B, but that's not the case. He's going to have to play for some kills.
yeah, DD in the back lines. Gets caught out by Nifty, and we go 14-12. Renegades finally chime 2 together. And Tyloo, that's a little bit scary for them. It's not like they have the greatest amount of money to purchase out a buy that's got everything you need in it. It's a bit scrappy indeed. You're going to pull out the AK. There's an AWP line there for him, so we can pull that up. And I mean, somebody's got a Galil. So again, there's 4 flashbangs, 2 smokes. That's all Tyloo have to bring to the table here. It's going to be very difficult, especially since they've used up like a lot of Molotovs on their executes, etc. So they'll have that weakness. So instead, they try to get the advantage by trying to go for that opening kill. But Bentet, he's not going to be allowed to, as Azure will hide behind the wall.
Yeah, JKS has pushed through B yet again. This time he was alone. this was a really big risk. If he goes down, it would have been a huge problem, but Tyloo not really holding that position. Maybe if Tyloo had spotted out some of those previous B aggressions, they would have been able to realize that's a possibility and have players ready on the hold. That's not the case. Again, they're going to go for the Ivy play, and again, Tyloo have gone for this quite a few times, and Renegades have been able to stop it so far. Azza finds the opening frag before deciding to fall back. Nifty has found one in the meantime, and Tyloo in trouble, especially due to the fact that the bomb has dropped in a very awkward position for them. Again, I think Tyloo maybe being a bit too predictable here. They're continually trying this A play, but it's just not working for them. Buntet and Excurat, the two Indonesians sticking together. Okay, shot landed from Excurat. Azza also out in the open. Excurat's going to hunt him down. Oh, I thought he landed that one, but the shot not quite connecting. And with Buntet having 2 HP, looks like Renegades are about to get map points.
Renegades, map point for them, finally finding something that works, and something Tyloo that have been doing that has helped Renegades is not really putting any presence towards his upper B brine holes, because Renegades, for the past couple of rounds, they've been able to sort of just get that information and know that they're kind of leaning towards the A bomb site. If Tyloo even put a slight presence there at the start of the round, then it'll keep Renegades guessing and prevent them from really taking that map control. Seems as though they are going towards that area of the map now, but haven't really done it too much.
A weak buy for Tyloo. Going to be difficult for them to make this one work. I guess they've got a few more nades this time than the previous round. However, the weaponry certainly is not there. Currently, it is JKS again alone on the B bomb site. So it's nice to see Tyloo finally go towards B, because this is a position that has been somewhat weak, but the rotate is already here. JKS gets the first. That's the bomb spotted, so they can fully rotate. JKS still repositioning as he gets a second kill. The flash finally enough to take him down, but look at Ustillo. The rotate already here. Tyloo have no control anymore. They're going to be caught from all possible angles. Oh, Didi gets one, as does somebody. I thought this one was over and done with, and Jacob might make it over and done with as he gets them both. Renegades take train. They take their own map pick. Again, I've been saying throughout the day that last time they played on this one, it was Tyloo to take train 16-14. This time, Renegades win their own map pick, and I mean, again, the last time these two teams played Inferno, the next map, Renegades won that one in overtime. So this could be a very, very interesting series. Again, very, very close maps, and we'll see if Renegades can repeat that Inferno performance they did a few days ago against Tyloo, because then they could win the whole series 2-0.
Exactly. Renegades taking map number 1, 16-12. That's an incredible scoreline for Renegades. It was such a back and forth game, and that's what we expected from this grand final, really. You know, Tyloo, Renegades, they've got that rivalry. Two very, very tight teams when it comes to sort of skill across the board. They're both very, very close in that respect. And when the games are this close, it makes for a very exciting grand final. So map number 2 is going to be extremely interesting. Like you said, Renegades came out on top the last time these two teams played, even in this tournament. So on Inferno, that is. And so they've taken train, right? You look at Inferno, it's a little bit scary now for Tyloo. It's starting to get a bit real. The last minor they played at, Tyloo came out on top. So they're a little bit ready for that. Like the Inferno will definitely be a very, very important one for the Renegade side to pick up. Because if you go to for Tyloo to pick up, because if you go to overpass, when we go to overpass, sorry, for Tyloo, if they win this one, then it's still going to look good for Renegade.
Yeah, and remember, we've still got Overpass as the third map, which, you know, the desk said could be a problem for Tyloo. I kind of agree with them. Renegades, I think it was really smart of them to switch up the veto a little bit, because, you know, having the opportunity to maybe, you know, sneak a Dust 2 or an Overpass in the last map, that certainly gives them a much better chance. And I think that's impressive by Renegades to realize, hey, we lost last time, let's just switch things up slightly, you know, have the first 2 maps the same, but make sure that the last map is something different. Because again, this series, you know, slight edges can mean a massive amount when you're talking about these two teams. They're very, very close.
Well, that's enough from us. We're going to send it to the desk for the analyst to break down the first map.
Thank you, Dinko and Hawker. I do agree that it's going to be those fine edges that decide who takes this best of 3 overall. Now, we've seen Renegades take train this time. The last time they played at this event in a best of 3, which Tyloo came out on top, Tyloo took that first map. It was very close, 16-14. This time it was 16-12 in favour of Renegades. It was Renegades' pick in the first best of 3 and in this one as well. Are we going to see that continue into the second map in terms of Tyloo bouncing back on Inferno as opposed to the first best of 3 where Renegades actually won on Tyloo's pick?
What was the question?
Inferno is the next map.
Yeah.
It is Tyloo's pick. In the first best of 3, Tyloo lost that. Renegades took their map pick. And it was the same on the first map where Tyloo ended up taking Renegades pick. This time, it's kind of normalized. You know, Renegades have won their pick. Are we going to see Tyloo win their pick this time, or will it go like the first best of 3 where Renegades managed to beat them on Inferno?
We don't know, right? I mean, we can go either way. But just looking at the stats real quickly there, Executor with 29 kills.
29, baby.
It's a good number.
Not good enough, though, unfortunately.
Plus 9 plus 10.
But
21.
I'm just looking at a tweet from Peter. I just needed from HLTV, right?
Okay.
The game
Hello,
restarted
Peter.
in 1
Thanks for
second.
watching.
He actually put up a very cool stat that Renegades have put up some crazy amount of utility usage. I'm talking about flash assist and
I
damage.
like that. I'm all about that.
I'm just looking at those stats. It's better than what Big had in Cologne.
Wow.
Right, I think that's something we have to pick on. You know, ever since I got Ryu, they've been utility usage is great. That's something which will give you that extra edge when it comes to facing off, you know, against the likes of a Tyloo. Train was very topsy-turvy. It was very back and forth. There were 3 rounds where it just went back and forth in the second half. I'm sorry, where I think it was. Okay, I can't speak right
Your
now.
voice
My
has got
voice
extremely
is gone.
deep. Let's throw it over to Eric in the studio.
Renegades, they're all about that map control, and they showed it so well on that map. It was just they're pushing Ivy, they're holding Ivy, they're pushing inside. One round, they pushed 5 people inside, which was I think it was kind of a mistake because it was on an eco for Tyloo, and that allowed Tyloo to rush out Ivy to backside to CT spawn. But overall, I thought Renegades played amazing. The teamwork together, they're doing stuff together, falling back as a team, and it's actually kind of beautiful to see. I really like that.
Well, we actually saw them have a better T-side on the first time they played Train, and yet in this second instance, they just had a stronger CT side and they went on to win the match. So that, I think, spells out good fortune for them and speaks volumes about their utility usage and how they've been synchronizing as a team.
Absolutely. I think they looked much more solid, especially in the first half, right? Like Tyloo, Renegades winning those early rounds forced Tyloo to go for multiple ecos, and they weren't quite able to convert them. And also, you know, when you have that many rounds on the T side, despite it looking a little iffy, I think the score was 12-12 and whatnot, the Renegades were able to close it out, shut things down. And it wasn't Tyloo doing anything wrong per se, but some of the initiative they were taking in, like pushing in towards inner halls, from brown halls, for example. Like there was one round where they had like 3 guys in pop. Like no one's going to expect that, right? So playing, again, Renegades playing some disruptive Counter-Strike, trying to catch Tyloo off guard, not playing the defensive style, which is what lost them a couple of maps when they played earlier in this tournament. So that's good to see, and I think that's a good sign for the boys.
We'd have to focus in on impact frags to really see how much of a difference he made, but do you think if Excurate hadn't got 29 frags that this would have been very, very one-sided in favor of Renegades, or do you think Tyloo still would have managed to pull out the rounds when needed to get 12 on the board?
I think many of the rounds they won weren't like Executor had a lot of numbers, true, but I think it wasn't him just going off like crazy. Everyone chipped in as well. Bented had his moments. DD got a couple of kills here and there. But yeah, absolutely, him getting those crucial kills, especially funnily enough, it wasn't mainly with the AWP. We saw a lot of deagle kills coming in, and that also kind of tells half the story of this map, where it was a lot of kind of messy anti-ecos, to be very honest, and some very impressive display of prowess with the pistols.
Eric, up next, we move into Inferno. We won't be doing a pre-game for that, so why don't we touch a bit upon it now. After that first map, who do you think it favors?
I think it maybe, well, Tyloo is known for picking that map, and they're pretty awesome at it as well, but Renegades shows them the other day, you know, they beat, you know, that Scars team 16-2, and it's the same thing that you kind of saw on this map. There's aggression, pushing Ivy, or not Ivy,
Banana, I guess.
Banana, pushing halls, seeing alt middle, and just seeing, you know, kind of just playing the map and seeing where they're at. If Renegades can play like that without getting punished, as well as just, you know, mixing it up, not always pushing but also playing passive, I think they have the edge.
Well, let's take a look at some instances from Train, the first map, that could potentially carry over in terms of meta to Inferno. Eric, so then which of you would like to start?
I'll do this one. I highlight this one from on one of the people from RNG. It's really hard to just play passive in
There's
Ivy.
Stylo's patience.
Stylo is just, there's kills happening outside. You want to peek. You want to take out, help out your teammates. But look at him. He's waiting, Ivy. He's waiting. And X carries like, okay, I'm not going to watch Ivy anymore. And at this time, this is such a good kill. It's a small one, but it's such a big impact that he kills the Opera in a very good spot. There's always Operas a lot of times in the Ivy area, and he's just being patient. And I love that kind of play, little subtly to the the whole game plan.
And also like how after he gets the kill, he doesn't quite overextend.
Yes.
He remains in Ivy, and so the CT guys who are over on the outer bomb side, they're like, oh, he's still there, he's not peeking, and nothing really happened for Tyloo after that.
So potentially that could carry over into Inferno in terms of when they're on their T side, maybe waiting out utility, waiting for those moments to make a trade without risking too much. There, he very cleverly waited for a flash to be thrown, which generally it gives you a bit of security when you're making a peek because, they might not be ready looking at your angle. And so thank you to Bears for raising that point. Now let's move on to Blair. You also have something you would like to look at.
Yeah, this is something which we see not just amongst Asian teams, but even Tier 1 teams, right? When you play an anti-eco on the CT side, especially in a map like Train and Overpass, if you play too passively, like they won the pistol round, they had those SMGs, but they played it so very passively, they didn't have the trade game going for them, and they just got swarmed by pistols, right? Like, the Extra was hitting some really nice shots, but then again, they were playing so very passive. Look at them, just getting picked apart one by one, and by that time, there was all the map control with Tyloo. They had some very nice post-line positions as well. They got the bomb down. So the lesson to be learned here is there is a time to play passively, and there's a time to play aggressively, and sometimes there's you need to play somewhere in between as well. Renegades are very too passive. You see this a lot in Overpass when you're on the A bomb side. You're like, all right, they just have pistols. Let's play back in the side. Take those long range duels, but you allow them to creep up all the way to the bomb side. Couple of flashbangs, couple of smokes. They're going to swarm you. Those Caesars at that range will completely dismantle you, and that's what happened here, especially towards Ivy, allowing Tyloo to get the bomb down and win that round. And that's something which happens very often, unfortunately, and something which I would like to see kind of fixed, so to speak, by teams like Renegades. Try to be a little bit more proactive, try to have a little bit more information when you're playing these sort of anti-ecos.
I think that's a great point and also something we could look out for on Inferno. All right, guys, I'm going to ask you for your predictions with regards to the second map, and so in your own time, do let me know.
I think Renegades is going to take Inferno.
Okay, so you're going with the 2-0 still, and Sudan?
I think Tyloo's going to take Inferno, but overall I'm going to stick with my original prediction that it's going to be 2-1 to Renegades.
I will stick with my original prediction as well. I think
You're a believer.
I think Tyloo are going to bounce back on Inferno and then maybe take Overpass afterwards. I think it's an exciting match so far, and that's only going to continue into this second map. Guys, do not go anywhere. It's going to be getting underway after this short break.